I glanced around the upscale French restaurant, considering my chances of bailing on this date. What was I getting myself into? Cut sleeve! Over here! A particular voice chirped my username from a few tables over, soft and sweet. I glanced up and... wow, there he was. Teddy, rising from his chair with a smile brighter than the chandelier glittering overhead. He was a vision in pastel pink, bubblegum hair all fluffy around the true brick face, legs for days beneath the flouncy helm of the bush-colored miniskirt, the FEMBOY to end all femboys. Totally not my type. Then why was I about to have a date with him, you might ask? Well, chalk it up to not reading the name correctly when entering to win a date with your favorite streamer contest on Twitch. I'd quickly register under Grant's section. Grant Sawyer was my favorite streamer. All hunky gym bros with arms that looked like they gave the best hugs. My exact type. The problem soon reared its head when I got the confirmation mail of my win. I'd won a goddamn date with Teddy Grant, not Grant Sawyer. Wrong name, wrong man, wrong win. A quick search soon revealed Teddy's page where he streamed while playing games like Valorant and Call of Duty, while dressed in the most ridiculous furry outfits. He was pretty popular, if his 23 million subscribers had anything to say about it. Total simps. And now, I was one of them, walking towards him in the fancy restaurant. My heart did a weird little tap dance against my ribs as I approached, clutching the bouquet of daisies I'd grabbed at the last minute. Hey, wow! You look great! Real smooth, Posey. I thrust the flowers at him, wishing I could melt into the plush carpet. These are for you. I didn't know what kind you like. So... oh my gosh! Teddy took the daisies with wide eyes, a pretty flush coloring his cheeks. You didn't have to? Gosh, I've never gotten flowers before. He buried his nose in the yellow petals, and I rubbed the back of my neck, oddly charmed by the way his nose scrunched up. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I hadn't even wanted to come on this date. I only came to experience what it was like to feel being out with a man. None of my I want to remain in the closet, but have you in my bed on Friday exes had deemed it fit to take me on dates. It was the first time and I felt a little guilty at his joy over the flowers. You don't have to get me anything either, I assured quickly. But Teddy giggled. Well, my presence is a present, so we're even. He winked, and I huffed out a startled laugh. Who even was this dude? 10 seconds in his company, and I felt like I chugged 3 Red Bulls. Teddy gestured at the chairs across from his. Come sit. I'm starving. You ever been here before? That'd be a hard no. I admitted I had slid into the seat fiddling with the chair cloth napkin. I work from home, so I don't come out much. Is the menu in French? I failed it woefully in high school, so you're going to have to translate. Teddy flashed his billion-dollar-watt grin again and flipped open the leather-bound menu. Don't worry, handsome. I've got you. We both cracked up at the end, and I felt myself relax a notch. I should have felt weirder, being so disarmed by someone who's so far from my usual type. But Teddy made it easy somehow, as he guided me through the menu. Okay, escargot with snails. You're not ready for that, he teased. How about some coq au vin? It's like, chicken stew, but fancy. Or steak fritters. Can't go wrong there. Yeah. Let's go with the steak, I decided. Since at least I could pronounce that one. The waiter swung by to take our orders and menus, leaving us with 2 glasses of water and an anticipatory silence, as Teddy tucked a pink curl behind his ear. So what do you do? I'm an artist. Teddy's lips rounded in an O of understanding. Does it pay well? I wasn't crazy rich. but I was friends with Luca, the owner of the large art gallery. He was always ensuring that they sold for good prices. I shrugged, not wanting to brag. Yeah, my paintings sell fairly well through an art gallery. That's great. You know, I was kind of scared that you were going to be some kind of creep, Teddy admitted, with a little wary smile. The stream contest, I mean. My management forced me to do it, and I don't know if you've seen my subscriber list. I winced. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm really glad I'm not a creep. Wow, seriously. A+ conversational skills. But Teddy just laughed. Me too, he said warmly, propping his chin onto his hand. When I first saw you, I was like, score! Cute and nice? A double threat. I ducked my head against the sudden swell of pressure in my chest. I bet you say that to all the contest winners. Nope, Teddy said, popping the P sound. Just you, Mr. Tall, Dark and Handsome. Though I got to admit, he bit his lip, nose crinkling. The restaurant was my manager's idea. He likes me eating at super bougie places. For my image, you know? Gotta maintain a figure. He made a face, patting his flat tummy. I frowned. That's kind of messed up. You should eat what you want, man. Screw your image. Teddy's eyes widened. You think? Yeah, totally. I leaned forward, seized by a sudden whim. You know what? Where's your favorite place to eat? Like your actual favorite? Teddy blinked, and then a slow, sly smile spread across his face. Well, there is a taco truck a few blocks from my apartment. They have the most bomb carne asada I've ever tasted. Perfect. I grinned back, pushing my chair away from the table and standing up with a flourish. Then let's bounce. I'm craving tacos all of a sudden. What? Now? Teddy gave a shocked little giggle, cheeks turning to the color of strawberry milk. Yeah, now. Not needing to be told again, Teddy led me out to the parking lot, his slender hand cool around my wrist. I tried not to think too hard about the simple touch, or the way he strutted ahead of me on his platform Mary Jane's, the streetlights painting his bare legs in gold as we wove between the cars. Okay, here, she said. Teddy trilled, releasing me to gesture proudly at... Holy shit. Is that a Lambo? I blurted, jaw unhinging at the sleek lines of the sports car gleaming under the lamps. Teddy giggled, tossing me a flirty smirk over his shoulder. Her name is Candle, with a K, and she's your ride for the night. He dug in the sparkly clutch, swinging from his wrist, and pulled out a key fob, pressing it into my palm and curling my fingers over it. I gaped at him. Dude, no way. I can't drive your car. Yes way. I saw your phone background in the restaurant, mister. Teddy arched a knowing brow. Black Lambo, right? Your dream ride? Mine is pink, but it'll do. Well, yeah, I admitted. Chewing the inside of my cheek, my gaze strayed longingly to the candy-bright sports car. But... No but, Teddy insisted, their eyes sparkling impishly. It's a date, right? Let me spoil you a little, cat sleeve. Ah, what the hell? When was I ever gonna get another chance like this? Alright, yeah, let's do this, I decided with a cocked grin, unlocking the car with the chirp. And it's Posey. You can just call me Posey. I really liked my username Cutsleeve. It was a Chinese metaphorical way of calling someone gay. But hearing him call me that over and over again didn't feel right. Wow, okay Posey. Nice name. We slid into the seats, and I had to take a minute just to feel it, trailing my hand over the steering wheel. Damn, she's gorgeous. I know, right? Teddy got his phone out and tapped the screen. I'm putting the taco truck's address into the GPS. You just focus on not wrapping my baby into a pole. Never, I swore solemnly, turning the key The engine roared to life with a purr so smooth I got thrills just from the sound. While I navigated out of the lot, Teddy busied himself with the music, flickering through Spotify with the deft finger until the familiar beat of Act a Fool by Ludacris pumped through the speakers. My eyes widened and I looked over at him as the first bars of the song filled the car. No shit, this is my favorite song! Teddy turned to me with an expression of sheer delight. Mine too! Oh my god! Quick, turn it up! I cranked the volume and we started belting the lyrics at the top of our lungs. Off-key and shameless. 20 minutes later, the GPS navigated us towards the quieter part of town. Little bodegas and laundromat reflecting off the Lambo's gleaming hood. I pulled up behind the battered old food truck. The bright swirls of its graffitied side nearly obscured by the eager crush of people waiting for their order. I locked the car and walked up, my stomach rumbling with the rich scent of grilling meat and spices that rolled out to greet me. The guy working at the window was a burly dude with dark hair pulled into a stubby ponytail, his thick brows rising when he spotted Teddy, wiggling to the front. Well, well. La Reina Rosa finally returns. He boomed over the sizzle of meat, teeth flashing white against his bronzed face, and with the tall drink of hot sauce too. Very nice. Teddy blew him a kiss. Jose, mi amor, you got 2 carne asado tacos for your favorite customer or what? Ha! For you, Roslata. I've got 3. Jose winked slyly at me, jerking his chin. This your man? I felt my face go up in flames, mouth dropping open, but Teddy just slung his arm around my waist, pulling me snug to his side, with a smug toss of his imaginary hair. Well, he's my date, he purred, tilting his head back on my shoulder to flutter those insane Bambi lashes at me. So I guess for tonight he is. I blinked down at Teddy, my brain fizzing static at his words, and the warm press of his body melting into mine. Was this really happening? But before I could warp my spinning head around it, Teddy released me with a bubbling laugh, dancing over to collect 2 foil-wrapped tacos from Jose with a blown kiss. Gracias, papi. You're the best. He shoved one into my hands and tugged me over to a rickety picnic table, plopping down on the bench and patting the spot beside him. Pop a squat, handsome. It's chow time. I did as bidden, still a little dazed, and then watched as Teddy peeled back the foil and absolutely demolished the taco in 4 huge bites, his cheeks bulging like a greedy chipmunk. So much for your dainty dinner manners. God, he moaned rapturously, sucking salsa off his fingers. This is good. How's yours? I took a bite of my own taco and nearly ascended to heaven on the spot. The meat was rich and savory, the toppings bright and fresh. Wow! I mumbled around the mouthful. I think I just saw God. Teddy giggled, a smear of guac on his pouty upper lip. Didn't I tell you? Mouth explosion for days. He went to town on his second taco, and I followed suit, both of us making, frankly, obscene noises as we chowed down like starving animals. It was like a polar opposite of the stuffy restaurant, all cheap tin foil, and picnic tables battered to hell, and about 1,000,000 times better. I glanced over to find Teddy grinning at me with that damn guac streak still painted on his lip. Dude, come here. Got a little schmutz. I grabbed a napkin and reached out to dab the guac, but Teddy leaned back with a playful squeal, batting at my hand. No! Wait, I got it! He twirled his tongue out like he was going to lick his own nose, going cross-eyed with the effort, and I cracked the hell up. You look ridiculous! Oh my god! Stop! I can get it! Teddy pushed my hand away again, tongue straining, and it shouldn't have been hot. But I couldn't tear my eyes away from that peak of pink as it flickered over his glossy lip. The blare of the ringtone made us both jump, and Teddy groaned, fishing his phone from his purse with an eye roll. Shit! It's Laurent, my manager. Hang on. He flounced off a few paces, but I could hear his manager's tiny voice rising stridently on the other end. I busied myself cleaning up our taco mess, fighting the urge to eavesdrop like a creeper. Teddy came clumping back after a minute, his mouth pinched. Well, date's over, cutie, he said, flapping his hand. Apparently, there was a miscommunication, and Laurent went to the restaurant to get pics of us for promo. He was pissed we bailed. Pictures? Pictures, I frowned as I stood up, wadding the foil into a ball. Do you plan on posting them? Yes. You wouldn't mind, would you? Teddy shrugged tiredly. I need to show that I went on the date, giving everyone the hope that it could be their turn eventually. You know? Those men, they all see me as a fetish. A pretty doll. His eyes were sad. And the wax still stood on his lip. I reached out, cradling his face in my hands as I wiped it off. We stayed like that for a charged moment, before Teddy took a sharp step back. I should get going. Laurent is waiting at my place. Right, yeah. Of course. I scrubbed my hand through my hair, feeling like I'd just been doused with cold water. Get home safe, okay? Teddy nodded. Clutching the strap on his purse, he hesitated, then leaned in and pecked me on the cheek. Give me your phone. Dazed, I handed it to him and watched him punch a number in. Call me. With that, he smacked another kiss on my cheek and flounced off towards his car, platform heels crunching over gravel. I watched him go, raising a hand in a numbed wave, before I blushed out in a burst of pink. 1 week later, I stared at the canvas, a scowl pinching my brows as I swept another streak of cobalt across the half-finished portrait. The paint glistened wetly, catching a pale light flickering through the loft windows. But the eyes, damn, the eyes were all wrong. Too round, too blue. Like Teddy's eyes. I couldn't get Teddy out of my head. No matter how hard I tried, he was so different from the guys I usually went for. The tall, muscular, manly types that my mother had always hinted would be a proper match for me. Growing up, she consistently asked about my little friends, her lips pursed in disapproval, whenever I mentioned hanging out with anyone too soft or artsy. She perfectly towed the line between acceptance and rejection. She loved me too much to reject me, but sure didn't want me bringing a pink princess home. But Teddy, God, Teddy was like no one I'd ever met. I shouldn't want Teddy. I couldn't. So why couldn't I stop thinking about him? A week had passed and I hadn't called him. Hell, I deleted the number the second he'd punched it into my phone. A knee-jerk reflex, honed by years of dodging my mother's scathing interrogations. I shook the thoughts away with a scowl. It didn't matter how amazing Teddy was. It wasn't possible. Not with my mother breathing down my neck, waiting for the perfect man to parade through the door, and a twink who danced for tips on the internet in booty shorts and kitty ears. She'd have an aneurysm on the spot. With an aggressive sigh, I fished my phone out of my pocket, thumbing idly through the notifications. I stopped short at a friend request. The profile pic was a fluffy puppy with a pink bow. But the name? No way. It couldn't be. I click accept with a trembling finger, and immediately a message popped up. A beautiful face, pink hair, and a radiant smile. Teddy! I breathed a helpless smile tugging at my mouth. A bubble with dancing dots followed, and I held my breath as it entered. I didn't peg you as the ghosting type. Was the date that bad? I have to laugh, warmth ballooning in my chest. As I hastily tapped out a reply, the typing bubble disappeared immediately, followed by a familiar beep of a video call. Nervousness filled me, and I hastily patted my hair, wiping the streaks of paint off my cheeks before picking up. How did you find my account? Teddy's cute face filled my screen. He pouted aggrieved. It wasn't hard. I searched for tall, dark, and handsome. My cheeks flamed up, and I avoided his gaze. What? Jeez, I'm just kidding. I looked up your Twitch username. Took you long enough to accept my request. What the hell does your username mean? Social media really isn't my jam. I bit my lip, nerves shooting through me. My username would serve as a topic for future conversations, so I didn't respond to that. What's up? You miss me or something? Teddy's reply took a minute to come through. My network buffering on and off. Finally his voice crackled through. I'm sorry. I don't miss people who ghost after amazing dates. Seriously though. You free Friday night? I'm making fettuccine alfredo if you want to come over. My heart stuttered and I swallowed hard, staring at the screen. Yeah, I'm free. What time? 7. I'll send you my Addy. I let out a long, shaky breath, a grin breaking across my face. Perfect. See you then. Holy shit. I had a date with Teddy. A real one this time. No mix-ups or nothing. Friday evening. When Friday rolled around, I shuffled from foot to foot as I waited for Teddy to answer the door. The door swung open to reveal Teddy in a gauzy white crop top and little lavender booty shorts that made his legs look a mile long. Posey! He squealed, throwing his arms around my neck in a burst of floral perfume. You made it! OMG! Get in here! This is my first time having someone over. He grabbed my hand and towed me into the apartment. I barely had time to register the interior. All soft pastel and plush textures. He flounced over to the table and struck a pose. Hand on his crocked hip. So, what do you think? I cooked for you and everything. My eyes spread. I eyed the spread of pasta and garlic bread. The wine glinting ruby red in the decanter. It, looks great. Teddy, really nice. And it did. Romantic even. But the flutter in my belly twisted sharply. What was I doing? This was dangerous. Reckless even. The more time I spent with Teddy, the harder it would be to go back to my regular taste. Teddy, oblivious to my spiraling thought, beamed and pulled out a chair with a flourish. Then, let's eat. I'm dying to hear what you've been up to all week. Teddy plopped down beside me with a bean, digging in with his own fork. In a few minutes, we just ate in compassionable silence. This was good. Easy. Kinda like that night at the taco truck. Eventually, Teddy dropped his fork onto the empty plate with a contented sigh. Stretching his arms over my head lazily, his shirt rolled up, and I hastily averted my eyes, warmth prickling my neck. So, Teddy purred, rolling his head on the back of my chair to smirk at me through his lashes. You never texted after our date. What's the deal, mister? Playful, but with an undercurrent of uncertainty, tugged at my heart. I set my plate aside and shifted to face him fully, our knees bumping under the table. Hey, no. Of course I had fun, I assured him, catching his gaze and holding it so he could see my sincerity. Seriously. Teddy, that was like the best night I've ever had in forever. I trailed off, struggling to find the right words, and Teddy cocked his head in curiosity. You just what? What was I supposed to say? Sorry? My mum's a slightly homophobic harpy who'd rather I die alone than bring home a boy like you? Teddy smiled comfortingly, reaching to hold my hand in his. Look, Posey, I kind of really like you, and I was hoping we could go on more dates. My teeth clamped hard on my tongue, but I wasn't able to hold my reply. I do too. But it's not right. Teddy was quiet for a long moment, and I risked a glance up to find him studying me. You think I do this to all my contest winners? He asked me finally, making my chest ache. Invite them over for fettuccine and wine? With a side of simping over everything they say? A surprised laugh punched out of me, and Teddy's lips twitched reluctantly, his eyes still searching mine. Posey, that stuff I said about guys, thinking I'm just like a fetish or a phase or whatever. It's true. It freaking sucks. And I don't let myself get carried away either. Because, what's the point? No one ever sticks around. He looked away, blinking rapidly. And I swallowed hard, my hand moving without a thought to cup his cheek. I'm sorry, I murmured, my throat tight and hot. You deserve so much better than that, Teddy. Teddy let out a shuddery breath and leaned into my touch. His lashes damp where they fluttered against my wrist. I really like you, he whispered, as if confessing something shameful. I think you're sweet and funny and different from the other guys. Teddy made me forget everything else. It was intoxicating and terrifying. As Teddy poured me another glass of wine, he spoke casually. Should we go out dancing this weekend? There's a great club. It does a drag night on Saturdays. I think you'd love it. As if someone pulled a plug. I froze. I don't know about that. Teddy blinked, brows furrowing. Why not? It's fun, I promise. You'll meet some of my friends. We'll all dance. It'll be a blast. That's it? I gulped. A piercing stare from my mother flashing across my vision. I'm just not a club guy. Silence. It was heavy and wrong. Teddy set the wine down, and I felt his gaze on me. It was too much. Posey. He moistened his lips, voice painfully gentle. Are you not out? My lungs constricted, and I sat up, the chair screeching over the tile. It's not that. I need to go. Wait! Teddy flew up after me. He grabbed my arm, his eyes shining with an apology. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push. I really like you, Posey. And I thought you felt the connection too. I did, and the naked hurt in his voice hurt my heart. I do like you. I do like you. The truth crawled out of my throat. I like you, Teddy. So much. But I have a type. And you're not exactly that. Teddy's face crumpled. He let go of my arm, like I had burned him. Right. Because being with me is shameful. You can hang out with me in private, but God forbid people see us together. Why in God's name did you ever even try to win a date with me? That's... I paused. Since we were already discussing hard topics, I might as well say the truth. That's because I didn't enter the contest for you. I thought I was entering for Grank Sawyer. Teddy blinked, and I could almost hear every sound in my head. What? So... you never... I'm not the... Unable to stop his stuttering. I tried to salvage the situation. But then I came on the date, and you were amazing. You were so full of life and color. But I just don't know. You think I don't know what I look like to people? Teddy spoke with more force, shouting. He had tears streaming down his face. To them, I'm a fetish, a dirty secret. Good only for a lay or fun time. Not good enough to bring home to mother. He was right. I was ashamed of being seen with him. Terrified of what people would think. Of what my mother would think. And I hated myself for it. For being too much of a coward to face the fact that regardless of my type, I liked Teddy. I hated myself for hurting this amazing guy, who'd shown me more genuine affection and acceptance in 2 short meetings than I'd gotten from any of my so-called proper boyfriends. Teddy laughed in a harsh tone. Yeah, the words cut through the air. That's what I thought. Posey, get out! My feet felt rooted to the spot. I was numb to the core. Something shriveled and died in me. When Teddy pushed me out, the world became monochrome. He had taken all the color with him. 2 weeks later, the rows of painting in my apartment mocked me. A riot of pink and blue. 15 canvases. 15 couples of the same face. Teddy. It was all Teddy. Every painting. I'd messed up. I knew that with a clarity that scalded me from the inside out. My phone buzzed on the painted splatter table, and I snatched it up with a scowl, ready to decline, only to freeze at the name on the screen. Shit! It was my manager from the gallery. I answered with a wince, already knowing what was coming. Luca. Hey. Don't hey me, asshole! Luca's voice crackled with stress and sleep deprivation. What the hell is going on with you? These paintings you sent over, they're all the same goddamn thing! The freaking twink with pink hair and anime eyes! I pinched the bridge of my nose, suddenly exhausted. I know, I'm sorry. I can't seem to paint anything right now. Well, you better start! Luca exploded, making me wince again. People bought those first pink angel pieces, thinking they were one-off, a novelty. But this? Churning out the same shit over and over again? You're gonna torpedo your own career, Posey. I sat heavily on the paint-stained futon, the phone dangling from my finger. As I stared at the army of Teddies watching me from every corner of the loft, Luca was still ranting in my ear, but his voice faded into a distant buzz as a thought struck me. Luca, I interrupted, cutting him through his tirade. You're married, right? Silence. Then a baffled, what? You're married, I repeated, an odd calm settling over him. Your wife. Was she your type when you first got together? Luca sputtered, What the? Why are you asking me this shit? What's it got to do with anything? Just answer the question, man! A heavy sigh gusted over the line. No, Luca said finally, sounding as tired as I felt. No, she wasn't my type at all. She was the opposite of everything I thought I wanted. My heart kicked against my ribs. So what happened? What happened? Luca huffed in a rueful laugh. I fell in love with her. That's what happened. Ass over tea kettle having type. Having a type, it's all bullshit. Posey, a social construct. People change. You change. And sometimes your heart knows what it wants before your head catches up. Tears stung my eyes, and I blinked them back fiercely, a watery laugh escaping me. Wow, that was almost profound. Luca. Yeah? Well, don't get used to it, Luca grumbled. But I could hear the smile in his voice. It vanished in a second, later as he snapped. And if you send me one more painting of strawberry shortcake, I'm going to come over to your bougie loft and throw you off the roof myself. Capiche? Capisco, I said meekly and hung up. For a long moment, I just sat there. Then in a burst of manic energy, I lunged for my phone. My thumbs flew over the keys, words spilling out of me in a torrent. Apology after apology. Everything I had been too afraid to say, followed by my address. Teddy, I'm so freaking sorry. Please, I know I don't deserve it, but please, come over. I need to see you. I need to explain. I sent the text, dropped my phone on the futon, paced the loft, checking my phone, paced some more. 5 minutes crawled by, 10, an eternity, and then finally, my phone dinged and I scrambled for it. My heart was in my throat. His reply was a word. 4 letters. Fine. I reeled back, elation and disbelief shocking me in my chest. Teddy was coming. He was giving me another chance. An hour later, the doorbell chime ricocheted off the walls of my apartment. Teddy was here. I shot off the couch, my legs a tangle of overexcited limbs as I bolted for the door. My brain was on the drunk mere prospect of laying my eyes on him again. I was so pathetically gone for this guy, because all my pathetic yammering screeched to a halt as I flung open the door, because standing there, on the threshold, was a stranger. My mouth fell open. The guy fidgeting on my welcome mat could have been Teddy's gothier, more insecure cousin. His usual vibrant pink curls were stuffed under an ill-fitting black wig, his slender frame drowning in a drab black turtleneck and baggy cargos. Even his sparkly performance heels have been traded for boring-ass white Nikes. Teddy? I managed blinking rapidly. What? Teddy glanced up at me, fingers twisting anxiously in the hem of his top. Hey, he greeted coldly. I thought this might be more your style. My heart plummeted like a stone, and I lurched forward, dragging him into my crushing embrace right there in the hallway. Oh God. Teddy, no! I sighed, fighting back the string of tears. Baby, no. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I ever made you feel like you had to change for me. Teddy let out a shuddery breath and burrowed into my chest, his arms coming up to clutch at my back. It's okay, he whispered. I could hear the lie in his resignation. I can dress however you want. Posey, it's just clothes. It's not, I choked out, pulling back to cup his face in my hands, my thumb stroking over his delicate arch of his cheekbones. It's not just clothes, Teddy. It's you. It's everything that makes you freaking special. Teddy's eyes widened, his lips parting. Come here, I said hoarsely, tugging him into my apartment. I need to show you something. I led him into the living room, where my canvases were leaning against every available surface, concealed under the drop cloth. Teddy glanced from me, in a shrouded shapes and back again, his brows pinching confusion. Posey. What? I yanked the nearest drop cloth, sending it into the hardwood in a cloud of dust. Teddy flinches back, then froze, his eyes going wide as he took in the painting. It was him, of course. It was him, rendered in shades of pink and ivory, his hair in a wild tangle of bubblegum curls. His lips parted with a laugh. Oh, Teddy exclaimed, his fingers fluttering to his mouth. His gaze darted to me, fragile and disbelieving, and I swallowed hard. I painted it every day after our date. I said roughly, my voice scraped with raw emotion. And the day after that, and the day after that. I couldn't get you out of my head, Teddy. I still can't. I moved to the next painting and ripped the cloth away. Then next, then the next, and the next, and a continuous heartbeat of revelation. Teddy haloed in fairy lights. Teddy sucking salsa from his fingertips with relish. Teddy silhouetted against the sunset in the passenger seat of a pink Lambo. Teddy turned, his eyes glassy with unshedded tears. Posey, he whispered again, his voice crackling. What is all this? This is my apology. I closed the gap in a quick step. I'm done being an idiot. My hands flew to Teddy's wig, yanking it off and tossing it aside. I dove into his real locks, soft, pink and perfect, my fingers sinking deep as I held his face. Christ, you're gorgeous, I growled, my eyes locked on his shocked ones. It's like you painted the whole world, Teddy. Every second with you. It's a freaking revelation. You're this. this unstoppable force of life and courage. And I'm such an ass forever, making you think you needed to tone it down for me. My words tumbled out, raw and unfiltered, each one a confession and a promise rolled into one. My tears slipped down Teddy's cheek, leaving a shiny snail trail in their wake, and he surged up on his toes and smashed his mouth to mine. I made a startled noise against his lips before sinking into the kiss with a groan, my hand sliding down to grip his waist. Wow! Teddy gasped as we broke apart, color high on his cheeks. That was like some K-drama shit. A laugh startled out of me, and I leaned in to rest my forehead against his. Yeah. Well, I've got a lot of wooing to make up for. Teddy huffed a breath against my lips, his own curving into a small, secret smile. You really mean it, don't you? All that stuff about seeing me? The real me. I do, I said. Quite, but certain. Teddy pulled back to beam at me, radiant and rosy-cheeked, and I stroked the thumb over the sweet swell of his bottom lip, wonderingly. So hey, I started. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't tonight drag night at that club you were telling me about? Teddy's brows shot up. It is. Yeah. You remembered it? Teddy, I grinned at him. I remember everything you say. And I seem to recall you saying you'd take me dancing sometime? Teddy's eyes widened, a slow smile stretching his kiss-swollen lips. Posey, he purred, walking his fingers up to my chest. Are you asking me out on a date right now? I caught his hand in mine and brought it up to my mouth, brushing a kiss to his knuckle. Damn right I am. You, me, the dance floor, and anyone else who wants to watch me show off the most incredible guy in the world. What do you say? Hell yeah! Teddy beamed and leaned up to kiss me again. After a month of dates here and there, I finally asked Teddy to be my boyfriend. Thankfully, he agreed. I also took him to a family dinner with my mother. She really wasn't pleased, but I didn't miss all the extra pieces of meat she piled on to Teddy's plate while saying he was too skinny, as Teddy caught my eye and giggled, his foot nudging mine under the table. I exhaled loudly. We're going to be just fine. Do you believe in having a type? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of the Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome.